Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price this Tuesday as it's turnaround Tuesday. And while having dinner, enjoying the sunset, I had to get this video update out to you guys because people on the Discord have been talking about the bearish redistribution scenario that could potentially happen. I'm going to talk about exactly what that is in just a second, but this is an extremely important update on the Bitcoin price. Exactly as we predicted, Bitcoin has the $38,000 level. Notice how our candle low for the monthly candle right now, the new monthly candle is 38,000 US dollars on the dot, not even a cent off. That's why you guys watch this channel. We have the most accurate technical analysis on the internet. Now, I have a lot to talk about today, so let's just dive into the charts. We're going to slow down to speed up. I'm going to address the bears and the bulls as I always do on this channel, and then I'm going to head back to dinner. But let's first talk about this potential redistribution. Technical analysis, this is a bearish scenario. It says the redistribution phase is a range that comes from a bearish trend and is followed by a new bearish trend. Multiple phases of redistribution can occur within a large bear market. This is a pause that refreshes the value to develop an other downward movement. And notice how on this right-hand side, just look at the top right, where you potentially form a higher high, and then notice how it says there's a retest to confirm whether or not this is a bearish redistribution phase. And how similar does this look to what's happening right now on the micro timeframes for Bitcoin at 38,000 US dollars? This right now is going to be the major test for Bitcoin. If we're not able to hold 38,000 US dollars, this potential downside scenario of moving below 34,788 and this being a bearish flag and a continuation to the downside becomes highly likely if 38,000 doesn't hold. That's plain and simple what the bearish scenario is, and 38,000 is going to be the major confirmation of that. Now, I want to talk about how price action has reacted so far on the micro time frames, but more importantly, I want you guys to realize what's happening right now. If we look at the Bitcoin against money supply chart, this is actually a better chart than Bitcoin against the US dollar pairing. Notice how right now our major resistance level is actually this downtrend channel that has held Bitcoin down for a few months now, and right now we are testing this major resistance. And so this is why we're not seeing price action right now move to the upside with decisiveness, because we are at such a very critical channel resistance. What does that tell me as a technical analyst? Well, that means that within the next 24 hours, we will most likely find out whether or not this is a bearish redistribution phase. And if we cross below 38,000 US dollars, that's going to be a confirmation. Of course, we're going to look at the hourly and 4-hour candles, look at the candle symmetry to confirm whether or not it is truly a decisive break. But realize this, the monthly open testing 38,000, that's the current low for the monthly open. If we come below that, that is when we're going to have to really pay attention to the micro time frames, the volume, to see whether or not we're going to see a breakdown from 38,000. Because if we do, that redistribution model comes into play and we could potentially see another leg to the downside below 33,000 US dollars. If we maintain $38,000, you guys know what the upside target is, 41,950 for Bitcoin. I want to be honest with you guys. If we go into these micro time frames, it is truly a draw. I'm not going to just sit here and stay, extremely biased to the bullish end just because I'm a Bitcoin bull. I always give you guys the most unbiased analysis, and just notice how right now there is a reason this weekly open is at just below 38,000 US dollars, and the candle low for this new monthly candle is at 38,000. We do not want to cross below this level, and the volume so far is really half-half. I'm going to be completely honest. Just look at the type of volume we're seeing on these micro time frames. If we go to the 5-minute chart, for example, how is volume above 38,000? Well, we are getting large spikes of buys, and that tells me that there's institutional buying that's occurring right now above 38,000. But there is a lot of strong periods of sell pressure that come in. Looks like retail sell pressure. You can see it's a lot less than the type of buy volume that's coming in, but it is significant volume. That means maybe, as institutions are slowly laddering into positions, we're seeing some retail sell off. And so it's really a draw when it comes to these micro time frames. I don't think we're going to get a good answer from that. Really, the answer is going to come at 38,000. If we hold 38,000, that's going to be a major confirmation for Bitcoin. And so far, when it comes to candle symmetry, by the way, on the hourly and 4-hour chart, we have not seen any decisive candles above 38,000. We've seen some bearish and bullish candles. And so that's why I'm telling you guys it's super undecided. If you look here, this right here is a downside move. This is a bearish candle. Then you have this bullish candle on the hourly chart. And so there's clearly an undecided range here above 38,000. That's why we have to monitor this level. On the 4-hour, we're getting a lot of indecision. Notice how if we pull up this 4-hour chart, a lot of these candles have wicks to the upside and downside. And so just realize when we look at what's happening here on the more macro, we are testing a major channel resistance, as I showed you guys with that money supply. We can even look at that against the US dollar price. If we were to just take a trend line here, notice how this right now, what we're testing is an extremely important resistance for this downtrend. And so that tells me that we're going to get an answer here very soon. If Bitcoin can just see a little bit more upside, it's really testing this level, then we can potentially get out of this bearish downtrend. And remember, as I talked about yesterday, the significance that we hold above 38,000 right now is important because it gets us away from seeing further downside and assuming targets below 30,000 in the medium and short term. Doesn't mean it's going to be like that for the long term, but you know, we really want to see that resistance break there. And hopefully this isn't just you know, a bull trap, and that redistribution model, which always is a bearish model, hopefully doesn't come into play where we break 38,000. And one thing I will address, because I know you guys love the 4-dimensional aspects of the market that we cover here on the Snipers channel, is based on how traditional markets were today. A lot of these tech stocks were still doing well. A lot of them were still up 1 or 2%, like Coinbase, Airbnb, and so they're continuing to see liquidity flow into them. Not too much of a concern right now on the outside environment. We'll quickly look at what's happening in the 4-dimensional environment. If we look at what's happening to the DXY, we're actually rejecting this major resistance. So I'm not concerned right now about what's happening here with the DXY. As you guys know, we've been monitoring this resistance at 97. So this rejection is actually a very good thing. If we look at what's happening to the S&P 500, we are sandwiched now between the 200 and 100-day moving average. So we conquered this 200-day moving average. Now it's a support. So I would say that the environment right now outside of Bitcoin is extremely positive. So you can see here, Coinbase up 4% today, ARK Innovation ETF up 2% today. So the 4-dimensional aspects of the market are still very strong. One thing people are talking about is Bitcoin dominance. And the reason people are talking about it is it's testing its 20-week moving average. So this is also something that we will monitor here. But it's going to be really hard to get an idea of what Bitcoin dominance is trying to tell us, because it's, number one, decoupled away from the DXY, unlike what happened in 2017-18. A lot of that has to do with DeFi, GameFi, the NFT space, and the metaverse Web3 space. That was not present in 2017-18. And so that's kept Bitcoin dominance down, even though we've seen downside in price. And so Bitcoin dominance, I don't think, is a very strong chart to watch right now. It's not something that's going to really give us much hints. And it makes sense because, I mean, if you think about it, Bitcoin dominance is just telling us, you know, how dominant is Bitcoin in the market, right? Of course, if it's moving up, it shows that there's fear in the overall crypto market. But I don't think that's going to come into play when all of these companies are investing in Web3, investing in the metaverse, and such forth. And so, you know, with that, Bitcoin dominance continuing down is actually a very positive thing. It means that we're seeing more capital flow into some of these other projects. And just like any mature market, the S&P 500 is way bigger than gold. And if Bitcoin's the digital version of gold, you guys that have been tuning into the channel have heard me say this before, then we don't want Bitcoin to be the #1 and largest market cap, you know, asset in the cryptocurrency space. We want something like Ethereum or some of these infrastructure, these layer 1 projects to take that spot. And we want to see more innovation in the space. And so Bitcoin dominance coming down is a great thing. So we're not going to really focus too much on that. I think it confuses a lot of people. But what we will monitor is the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, because that tells us how strong the altcoins are. And also, if we breach 65,000 Satoshis, which we tested with last week's candle for the first time in quite a while, since October of 2021. As long as we stay above this level, that's a confirmation to me that we're not entering into a bear market, that we're still seeing strength in the coins outside of Bitcoin. There's no fear in the crypto market. And so that helps the other altcoins lead towards that same path. And that's why the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart is a leading indicator for every other altcoin. Solana, AVAX, Sand, Axie. I mean, we can go on and on and on, right? And so with that being said, guys, I'm going to head back to dinner here. I just had to get this update out to you guys. When I was looking at the Discord chat, people, it seems like the bearish bias is becoming a little bit more of the talk of the town. People are not, becoming as bullish. And so when I saw that redistribution model, I really had to get this video update out to you guys. Remember to smash like button if you do the algorithm, if you guys appreciate this 4-dimensional analysis. And with that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Remember, 38,000 right now, major level. There's a reason the monthly open or the monthly low right now, the new monthly candle is at 38,000 on the dot. If we breach below that, that could be the early signs of this redistribution model. And with that being said, thank you all for tuning into the Snipers channel today. I'll see you guys next time. Snipers out.